to just do that. There we go. Hi, my name's Alex, also known as the Angry Crafter, mostly by my husband, but it's also the name of my blog on WordPress, Angry Crafter UK. So just to give you a little bit of background about what's going on at the moment, if you're watching this in the far off distant future, we're currently in the midst of the 2020 coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic, meaning that the whole country, most of the world, is on lockdown. Schools have been closed, any non-essential work has been closed. You're only allowed out of your house for very specific reasons. You're not allowed to visit friends or family. It's a hard time, and it's a very, very strange time. And there's some really good things coming out of it. There's lots of people doing things to help each other. There's a real sense of community spirit coming out with all this. And there's also a lot of people walking around with face masks on, but hey. So anyway, a little bit about me. If you know me, you'll know that I'm a very keen crafter. I love knitting, crochet, spinning. I dye my own yarn. I weave a little bit. I love needle felting. Basically, if you can do it with wool, I love to do it. So I've decided to use this lockdown time, my quarantine, if you will, to tackle, master a skill which has previously evaded me, and that is knitting socks. I find that hand knitting socks tends to polarise knitters into two groups of the people who love knitting socks. Why wouldn't you want to wear knitted socks? They're the most amazing thing in the world. And then there's the other camp, which is the one that I'm in, which is, why would I put all that time and effort into something that's going to be inside my shoes? But seeing as we're not allowed out, so we're not wearing shoes, maybe I should give these socks a go. So I put up on Facebook and on my blog last week about my plan to try and master the hand knitted sock. I've got quite a few people who are keen to join me, so I'm going to put together a 3-week, I want to say course. Over 3 weeks I'm going to divide up the knitting of a pair of socks and guide people through how to do it. Might do a couple of videos for some of the techniques, write it out on the blog what to do, lots of pictures and things like that. Yeah, so that's my plan. The thing that I've always hated about socks is the fact that they're knitted on quite fine yarn, so that can feel like it takes a long time to get anywhere, it takes a long time to grow, and I'm impatient and I want my project finished so I can do my next project and then the next one that I've got planned after that. And also the fact that you have to do two. You know, unless you're knitting, you know, you like odd socks or you're knitting for an amputee, then there's no point just doing one sock. And second sock syndrome is a recognised diagnosis. But in my research, I have found that there is a way to knit two socks at the same time, so that negates that second sock syndrome. So I'm going to talk you through how to knit a pair of completely bespoke socks. So rather than just giving you, this is the pattern, this is what you do, I'm going to show you how you work out what size sock you need, depending on what yarn you've got, what needles you've got, because we can't go to the knitting shops anymore, they're closed. Someone said they're not essential. This shop's still selling online, but it's a really good way to try and use some of the stuff that we've got at home already. Yeah, so that's me, that's my intention. I'm just quickly going to talk to you about the sort of things that you're going to need if you want to join me in this quest for the perfect pair of hand knitted socks. So I've got my little baggie here. The ideal yarn for knitting socks is a 4-ply wool nylon blend. The nylon gives it that bit of elasticity and a little bit of, it makes it much stronger, and the wool makes it still nice and soft. You can use anything really, but that's what they recommend. I mean, I've been practicing to do this. I've been knitting on some double knit acrylic that I've got hanging about, and they seem alright, to be fair. Excuse me, sorry, it's not coronavirus, you're okay. Right, so I have got this, really like these ones. I bought one for my little boy and one for my little girl, in these colours. Yeah, I'm rabbiting now, sorry. Completely lost my train of thought. So, I've got my little knitting bag. Let me show you all the things I'm going to use. I am going to knit my pair of socks in some hand-dyed yarn that I've got. This is a superwash Blueface Leicester with nylon, so it can go in the washing machine. I probably won't tumble dry it. Might not be. It might be okay. It might not. I'm not going to take that risk. It was a 100-gram skein. 100-gram skein even, and I've divided it into two 50-gram skeins, so one for each sock, because I'm going to knit two at the same time. To do two together, I can't help but think of Austin Powers when I say two at a time. Anyway, I'm going to use a circular needle. It's a long 100 centimetres, and it's a 2.25mm. Now, when you're knitting the socks, you really want to go down a size in the needle that you're using. So if you were knitting on a DK, a double knit yarn, which would normally be a 4mm needle, maybe scale it down to a 3.5. It just keeps the stitches nice and tight, close together, you know, on holy socks. Yeah, so that's those. Alternatively, you can use double pointed needles. If you've never heard of those before, they come in a set of usually 5, not to be mistaken for kebab skewers. There we go. And the way we use these is we cast on our stitches. We divide our stitches. I'm running out of hands. We divide the stitches across all of the needles, across 4 of the needles, and then the 5th needle you work. So you work across, and then you use the next needle and work across. I struggle with double pointed needles. I have 2 very young children at home. They're always climbing on top of me, and too many pointy ends, it's going to end in disaster. So that's another thing that's always put me off socks, off knitting them. So at least if I can use the double points, then if I can use the circulars, I'll just show you those quickly. Sorry, rustle while I open the packet. Circular needles are, you got your 2. Ooh, sorry. You join me today as well from my boudoir, because the children are at home, my husband is at home, I'm at home, everyone's at home, and I can't get a moment's peace. So yeah, I've snuck off to my bedroom now the children are asleep and he's on the PlayStation, so I can come and talk to you and tell you all about socks. Oh, life's so rock and roll, I tell you. Right, circular needles, 2 needle ends with a long bendy bit of plastic in between them. This is 100 centimetres. If you're going to do 2 at a time, baby, you're going to want at least 80 centimetre circular needles, otherwise it's just going to be too difficult. Right, so you need yarn, 100 grams, doesn't matter what size you're using, you'll probably need 100 grams. Needles, you're going to need a couple of stitch markers, and you're going to need a tapestry needle for sewing in your ends, and you're also going to need it for sewing up the toe at the end as well. So tapestry needle is you know what a tapestry needle is? It's a sewing needle that's big enough to be able to fit yarn through the eye, and I've got 2 little stitch markers. If you haven't got stitch markers, you can use safety pins, a little, just a little bit of yarn, cut a bit of yarn off, tie a knot in it, put it on just so you know where you are. It's fine. Improvise. That's what this is all about. So, on my next video, I'm going to talk to you about how you're going to prepare to knit your socks. That will be launched on Friday the 24th of April. Yeah, there'll be a blog post to go along, so if you don't want to listen to me rabbiting, you don't have to. But it's always lovely to speak to you guys, and yeah, I look forward to speaking to you again soon, and happy sock knitting. Bye!